How's it going? Welcome to Poker Vlog number 30. It's been a little amount of time since the previous one, and I got to get back on track of making content. I've been slacking a little bit, and that has to do partly because last weeks have been pretty tough with poker. Been running not the best. I haven't had a downswing since I've been up every week, except last week that I did actually lose. Not that much, under 1,000, but I haven't been making as much as I need to. So my bankroll has been dropping, and that does become pretty stressful, especially now that we have a nanny. So I do think it's been getting to me. I feel like I have a little less stamina on running bad. It just gets me quicker, and I got to watch out. Yesterday I caught myself playing a little too, conservative, trying to lower the variances. So I try to focus today. We did work out this morning to help a lot. Kind of wake up when you're running bad. It's not as exciting to go and play, let's say. So working out helps me a crazy amount, and I'm starting to meditate. So with all that said, let's go in and try to book the first win of the month, since this is our third session, and yesterday and the day before we were down. So yeah, let's focus and let's jump right into the poker room. All right, let's play some poker. 2-5's not going on yet, and that tends to happen now that we go play earlier than we used to. So we buy in for 1-3, that's $300, 2 extra in case we need to add on. Let's head over to the table and jump right into the first hand. We get a nice welcome with pocket tens and under the gun. I make it $12 and get the button and small blind to call, so 3 ways to a flop. And a good welcome it is indeed. Flop comes 10-9-9. We flop a full house to second nuts. News get better, so the small blind leads out for $18, and happy calling here, not scared of any turn, and the button is playing as well. So maybe if I call, he'll call with some draw that he may have, since there are a lot of straight draws and flush draws. So I do call, but it's not the case, as the button just folds. So heads up to a turn. Turn is an ace, and he doesn't slow down. I bet it's $25, not that big of a size, and I think calling here still was pretty good because a couple of reasons. We're playing 1-3, so we're not super deep. So if he does have a 9, I think we could still get it all in by the river. We are risking that if he does have a 9 and a flush comes in, he may get scared, but I'll take that risk because as well, this player is pretty tight. So if it is the case that he's bluffing with a flush draw, if I raise here on a paired board, I just think he's going to fold, and we're losing the chance that maybe he bluffs the river or he could hit his flush and we get a lot more money then. So I do just call. River is a 6 of clubs. So the flush does come in. Not sure if that's good or not, but he does not slow down. Once again, he bets $35. So again, a small size, but he just has 100 behind. So there's only one move to do here. I go all in, just hoping he has a flush. That's not 7-8, since of course that is a straight flush. He goes into the tank. He doesn't seem happy, and he starts saying, oh, did you flop a full house? Did you turn it? So it really seems like he has a flush himself. And sadly, he does end up folding, and I show for promotion reasons, and he told me he folded a flush. So definitely a great fold on his side if that is the case. And usually people are saying the truth. And the way he was talking, he was just repeating full houses. So it did sound like he was just talking about hands that was beating him. So he makes a great fold. Very lucky river for us. Of course, the flop was amazing. So very nice start for a session. Let's move on to the next hand. Now in under and 2 with pocket 4s. I make it $12. Folds to the hijack. I need 3 bets us, but just at $24. Folds to us. And this player is super action. He's been playing almost every hand, but I haven't seen him 3-bet before. So the fact that he 3-bet a pretty small size, and the fact that he mostly calls, looks very strong. But of course, that price, a pocket pair, I'm not going anywhere. I call, let's see a flop. We don't get as good as a flop, but still insane. King Jack 4. So we flop bottom set in a 3-bet pot. I check, and he snap checks back. Turn is an 8, and honestly, I was slightly worried because a live tell, when someone snap checks back when they showed a lot of strength pre-flop, sometimes they just have a very strong hand. Like they just flop sets a monster that they're just trying to give another player some extra leeway to be able to improve. I wouldn't have thought he'd do this on his flops. It's just super draw heavy, but that's just what I felt in the moment, because strong hands pre-flop, is a lot of ace-king top pairs or ace-queen, king-queen. There's just a lot of draws. I just think we'll be betting a lot. Almost every hand he's 3-betting me with pre-flop. So the fact that he checked back and so quick, It looks very strong, and I was feeling that, but of course I have bottom set. So no matter if he has top set or middle set, I'm getting all in with him. It is what it is. So I don't want to check here, and he checks back since there is plenty of draws. So I'm going to bet. I bet $40, and he raises us to 120. This looks stupid strong. As I said, a snap check back on a flop and then a raise on a blank turn. But what are we going to do? We have bottom set against an action player. I'm not going anywhere, and calling doesn't make sense since there's not too much behind. So I go all in for $280. He calls. Let's see the river. River is a queen of spades, so it brings in all the draws, but I really wasn't worried about that since I felt like he was going to bet a draw on a flop or just call the turn. And indeed, he was super strong, but thankfully not enough since he flopped two pair with king jack. So what a nasty flop for him. Top two via bottom set. What a hell of a run to start the session for us. We take down another decent pot in 1-3. Let's see if we can keep this good run going. Now I got Jack 10 suited in the small blind. There's 4 limpers, so I'm going to raise big. I'm going to get $35, and I just get under than 2 and low Jack to call. So 3 ways to a flop. Flop is not as amazing as the previous ones, but it still has a lot of potential. Queen 3-9. So we flop open in the straight draw. Backdoor flush draw, definitely good enough to put out a c-bet. So I make it $60, and they both fold. So definitely amazing start. Just poker in easy mode in these first 3 hands. And with this, we are up $425. That is insane, amazing for how long we've been playing in 1-3. So feels good. Let's move on. Now I'm going to cut off with queen 9 suited. There's 2 limpers, so I'm going to get $20 and get a small blind and low jack to call. So 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes jack, deuce, 10. So once again, open in a straight draw, checks to us, and in position, I'd like to put out a bet here. And depending on who calls, I could check back to the turn and see a free river. But in the moment, I decide to check back. Turn is a deuce, and it checks again to me. And when considering if I want to bluff in a spot, I got to think if I'd do it for value. And I do think I would be betting here with a 10, since I don't think I ever have a jack, since I would always bet it on the flop, and I don't really have that many deuces. But if they both check to me on the turn and have ace 10, king 10, queen 10, I would start betting for value, since I think they'll always bet with a jack. And there's not too many deuces. Sure, maybe the small blind, but if there's small chance that he does, I think he'd be betting on the turn as well, since it is a very draw heavy board. So let's bluff. I make it $20, and I just get the small blind to call. So heads up to a river. River is the best card of the deck. It's an 8, so we river the nuts. He checks, and I don't think I should almost ever have strong hands here, because as I said, if I have a set, if I have top pair, I'm betting the flop on such a draw heavy board. I'm not slow playing, and I'm betting queen 9 a lot as well. So when I just check flop, bet turn, I think I show up on the river just with a lot of medium strength hands or bluffs. So now that we have a very strong hand in a spot that I usually don't, I'm going to bet huge. I make it $150. He thinks for a little while, but sadly does not bite and folds. So 4 out of 4. Very nice. Let's move on. Now I got pocket jacks and a cutoff. Under than 1 makes it $12. Folds to us. I 3-bet to 35, and only he calls. So heads up to a flop. This time we don't see a favorable flop, and it comes ace 10 9. So overcard to a pocket pair, and we do not have the jack of hearts. When he checks to us, we're still beating some hands, and we 3-bet pre-flop. So I'm put out a small c-bet. I make it $20, and we see the pretty bad news when he check raises us to 60. And yeah, I think our hand is just way too weak to be calling here. And we don't even have a heart. So I just fold. And he flips over queen 9 of spades. So we had bottom pair, no heart. Yeah, who knows what he's thinking. I mean, I do think what happened here is sometimes when you put out a small c-bet, some players, more like old school, they just think small bet is weakness and they just react to it and get super aggressive. So sadly, we didn't have a strong enough hand to defend here, since we'll be betting small in this spot with everything. So we'll have flushes, we'll have sets, we'll have 2 pairs. So he takes it down. For this next one, we're straddling the button. When only the big blind calls, I make it $30. He jams for 74. We call. I show my pocket 10s. He shows ace jack, so it's a flip. Let's see the run out. Flop is okay. King, queen, 3, so no pair for him, but now he gets 2 extra outs. It's any 10 gives him a straight. Turn is not nice. It's an ace, so now he has top pair. Now we need a jack, 3 outs for a straight. Nope, river is a 5, so he'll take this one down. For this next one, I'm in a small blind, and the big blind, he's the action player that I won with pocket 4s. He asked me if it folds to us, if we could just get it all in since he just has $40, and I'm happy to agree. Let's gamble. Sure, we're losing a little bit of money since we're flipping and there's a rake, but I think it's good to keep the action players happy since they're bringing a lot of money. And if he doubles up, it's great since he is action, and it's very likely he'll put it back in the table. And if I win, $40 for us. So let's see the run out. Flop comes queen, ace, 10. Turn is ace. River is a 10. I flip over a 3 and he flips over jack 4. So we are free rolling to a chop. And a chop it is since my other card is a 4. We both played a board. Pretty anticlimactic ending to an all-in blind, but a chop it is. For the last hand of 1-3, we got pocket kings under than 2, so session of pocket pairs so far. Under the gun and under than 1 limb, so I make it $20. Folds to the button who goes all in, but he was short, is 37. Folds to under than 1 who calls, so 4 betting here, I make it 120. He takes for a little bit and finally folds what was ace king, so super tight fold that works out for him. We show and he has ace jack, so looking pretty good since 1 ace is already out of the deck. Let's see if we could fade 2 more. Flop comes jack 4, 9, so he flops top pair, gets a couple extra outs. We just got to fade 2 jacks and 2 aces, but once again the turn is not good for us when it is an ace. He turns 2 pair. Now we need to get lucky. 2 outer on the river. Nope, it is a queen. So he'll take it down, and that ends our 1-3 since they open a 2-5. Let's rack up, head over there, add on to be at $1,000, and let's jump right into the first hand. Things don't go as hoped. When we start off with ace queen suited, we 3-bet to 60. There's 2 callers, and the flop comes 5, 6, 7, turn 9. So we just got to check fold. And after that, we go card dead for an hour. So not the start we are hoping for, but being patient pays off. So when we look down at pocket kings in the big blind. Under the gun limps, under than 1, a very tight player raises a 35. Folds to us and always 3-betting. I make it 120. Under than folds and under than 1 does call. So heads up to a flop. Flop comes 9, 9, 4. So pretty good since I don't think he ever has a 9 here. As I said, he's very tight. So if he did raise, I don't think he's calling my 3-bet pre-flop with a 9 since as well, we play a lot together and he knows that I won't 3-bet him light. So me 3-betting him pre-flop looks super strong in itself. So yeah, I think I'm winning here always, unless he slow paid aces that I don't think he'd do. So I make it $60 and he just folds. So I'll take it. We take down the first pot of 2-5. Where this next one, the straddle is going on. We looked on an ace 10 suited in the button. The cutoff makes it $35 and he's pretty tight. So in the button, I decide to call and the blind's full, so heads up to a flop. Flop is very promising. Jack, king, 5, so he flopped nut, flush draw, and a gut shot. And he checks. That's good news. I think he's mostly betting the flop with a king. So I'm going to bet. I make it $40, and he calls. Turn is a 10. That felt pretty bad in the moment to be bluffing on, since I feel like I'm not going to get many folds for whatever calling a flop. Since if he has a king, he's not folding. And now ace queen is the nuts. And if he had jack queen, well, now it's open-ended, that's not going to fold. And jack 10 is 2 pair. So when he checks, I decide to see a free river and I check back. River is no help. It's an 8. So we have third pair and he bets. He makes it $40. That's very small. But I mean, I don't think I'm beating almost anything since on that board, there's a bunch of 2 pairs, top pairs, straights. But in the moment, I just didn't think he would check that off the king on the flop. And for that price, I just got sticky and curious. So I call and he flips over ace king. So flop, top pair, top kicker. That I was surprised. I thought he would be betting that on the flop. And he takes it down. Now we got pocket 4s in the cutoff. Low jack limb, so I make it $20 and get the small blind and low jack to call. So 3 ways to a flop. Flop is insane. Best possible flop. 4-4 deuce. We flop quads, the nuts. When it checks to us, what the hell are we going to get value from here? Maybe if that pocket pairs all together. I just think if I bet here, it's just going to take it down so often. So I decided to check back. Hopefully they can improve on the turn. So that's what I do. Turn is a king, checks to us. And I was just hoping that someone has a king. I make it $20, but it is not the case as they both pretty quickly fold. So definitely very cool flopping quads, but sadly we couldn't get much money out of it and we take it down. Now the straddle is going on. We looked on an ace jack suited in a button. There's 1 limper, so I make it $40. Now the small blind 3 bets, that's the 120. folds to us and definitely should be calling here. In the moment, I just felt it was a straddled pot, so definitely I feel like when it's that, the pots are bigger and players just tend to play tighter because of that. So I would snap call in a regular one, but in the moment, I just felt like he was way tighter and wasn't loving how my hand is doing against his range. But again, I should just be calling here with the suited version, but I do just fold in the moment. Definitely my low variance route taking action, and he shows his pocket queens, so we're definitely right about him being tight in this spot, and he takes it down, but again, definitely a little too tight. This brings us to the last hand of the session. We looked on an ace-9 off in the button. There's one limper, so I make it $20, and only the big blind calls, so heads out to a flop. Flop comes 9 jack jack, so pretty good. 2 pair S kicker. When checks to us, sure, she's the big blinds, you could have plenty of jacks, but there's more hands that we get value from, whereas 9s, draws, and we need protection since there's a lot of overcard to our 9s. So I make it $15, and see, check raises us to 35. So yeah, a little scary, but this player, she's decently action, and I've seen her do some interesting plays before, so I'm not believing that she has a jack yet. I call. Turn is a 4 that looks pretty safe. She checks, and that's great news, but I decided to check back here just in case he's being tricky with a jack and maybe he's going for another check raise, or maybe it's pot controlling and he has a weak kicker, so I decided to check back. River is a 7 that does bring in 10-8 if she was bluffing with that open in a straight turn, and she does bet, so it makes it $100. And yeah, not loving it, but again, it just was a very weird line. I see did check raise with a jack, and I think he's betting the turn, so maybe 10-8, but altogether I just wasn't believing it, so I do call, and she flips over pocket 4s. So she check raised us with the under pair to the board and just drilled the full house on the turn, and for some reason checked. That was definitely interesting, since I'd always expect her to bet just in case I have a jack to get 3 streets of value, but that is what she does, and maybe got a max value since I'm not calling a triple barrel. Maybe if I get sticky, but altogether she gets a good amount of value with her turn full house. And with that, we don't end the session on the best note. 2-5 didn't go our way, but thankfully we did good in 1-3. Let's rack up, cash out, and see how we did. And yeah, that was a pretty nice depiction of how these last 3 weeks has been going on for me. Just running, doing well in 1-3 and in 2 5-stars, and I just card dead, just not much going on for me. I think I'm playing decent. I think I'm playing good. Just that one hand maybe where I called with the ace-10 when I just had the third pair, the small bet. I definitely think I could have saved myself $40 there, especially blocking the flush draw. But altogether, yeah, we were in for $1,000 and out for $1,005. So we made a profit of $5 in a little under 8 hours. Yeah, so I guess it's not like a bad run because I'm not losing money, but I am losing money because I have a nanny, I have a lot of expenses, and working 8 hours for $5 is not a win at all. But hopefully the month just started, and there's plenty of time to go. So hopefully in the next vlogs and the next weeks, we can start running better in 2-5, because running good in 1-3 and running bad or card dead in 2-5 is just not a mix to make a decent profit. So altogether, at least it was entertaining. We had quads, even though we didn't get paid, full houses, sets. So at least we got some fun hands for the vlog, you know, apart from the $5 profit we made. So thank you guys for watching. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, it's always appreciated. And I'll see you guys next week.